I was deep in sleep when I suddenly woke up, feeling something touching my arm. Groggy and confused, I opened my eyes to see a man wearing a mask, his face inches from mine, staring intensely. I immediately screamed, but he covered my mouth and whispered urgently,
"Don't scream. I only want your brother's backpack. Show me where it is and we'll leave."
My heart raced as I processed his words. With my voice trembling, I managed to say that I didn't have a brother. The man stared at me, confused. I glanced toward the door and saw 3 other men, all dressed in black clothes and masks, standing there, watching. After a few seconds of tense silence, one of the men by the door spoke up.
"That's not Sophia."
The realization hit them all at once. In a flash, they bolted from my room, running like crazy out of my house. I lay there, paralyzed with fear, trying to comprehend what had just happened. Gathering my courage, I got up, terrified that there might still be someone else in the house. I noticed the front door was busted open, my hands shaking. I called the police and told them everything. The officers arrived quickly, searched the house, and assured me that no one else was there. But the fear remained, gnawing at me. From that night on, I couldn't sleep calmly. The memory of waking up to a masked face inches from mine haunted me, making every creak of the house at night feel like a threat. The terror of that moment left a permanent scar, and the simple act of falling asleep became a nightly struggle against my own fear. I woke up around 2 a.m. to Alexa's voice softly asking,
"Can I help with something else?"
It was strange, hearing her in the middle of the night. Maybe she picked up some background noise, though the street outside was silent. Shaking it off as a glitch, I went back to sleep. A little later, I woke up again to Alexa's voice. This time, she said,
"Adding knife to your shopping list."
My heart raced. That was unnerving. I decided to unplug Alexa and tried to calm down. I drifted off once more, but a third time I was jolted awake. Alexa's voice echoed.
"Thank you. Please let me know if I can help you with something else."
Panic set in. Alexa was plugged in again. Had I only dreamed about unplugging her, or had someone plugged her back in? I couldn't remember, but one thing was clear: who was Alexa talking to? That was the last night I ever used Alexa. I couldn't shake the feeling that something, or someone, was lurking in the shadows, using my Alexa to reach out. Since then, silence feels like my only safety. Several years ago, I was home alone one evening when I heard an unexpected knock at the back door. This was unusual because no one ever used that door. As I approached the back door, I saw a tall man standing there through the window. A chill ran down my spine. I didn't feel safe opening the door, so I called out to him. He tapped on the window and claimed he was from the gas company. At the time, my husband and I had no issues with our gas service, so I questioned why he was there. He insisted it was important to check our gas and that he needed to come inside. I shook my head, repeating that we had no issues and there was no need for him to be there. He became more insistent, saying he needed to visit every resident and do his job. I noticed him grabbing the doorknob and trying to open the locked door. Slowly, I grabbed a knife and held it tight. I repeated that there was no need for him to be there. He persisted, trying the doorknob again. I closed my eyes, feeling overwhelming gratitude for always locking my doors. I then asked for his name, intending to call his supervisor. He then replied that it wasn't necessary. He apologized and left the staircase. When my husband returned home, I told him what had happened, still very shaken up. He immediately called the gas company and spoke to a representative, who informed us that no one from their company was out on an assignment in our area. The next day, we asked our neighbors if they had a visit from the company, and no one had. One night, I was home alone. I settled on the couch with a book, trying to enjoy the solitude. Around 11 p.m., I heard a faint beeping sound coming from the kitchen. It was just my microwave, its clock blinking 12 o'clock as if it had lost power for a second. Strange, but not alarming. I reset the clock and went back to my book. A few minutes later, the same beeping echoed through the house. This time, I felt a shiver run down my spine. I walked back to the kitchen and saw the microwave's clock blinking again. Maybe there was a power surge. I reset it once more and checked the breaker box, but everything seemed normal. I returned to the living room, but the uneasy feeling lingered. I tried to ignore it and resumed reading. Just as I started to relax, I heard a faint tapping sound coming from upstairs. It was slow and rhythmic, like someone gently knocking on a door. My heart pounded in my chest. I was certain I was alone. Summoning my courage, I crept up the stairs. The tapping continued, louder now. It was coming from the bathroom. I pushed the door open, but the room was empty. The only sound was the dripping of the faucet. I tightened it, and the tapping stopped. Feeling foolish, I went back downstairs, determined to ignore any more odd sounds. As I reached the bottom step, the microwave beeped again. My heart skipped a beat. I ran to the kitchen, and there it was, the clock blinking 12 o'clock once more. At that very moment, I heard a noise that sounded like my front door closing. I rushed to the front door, half expecting to see someone standing there, but no one was at the door or outside. The street was as silent and empty as before. That night, I slept at my friend's house. The whispering had stopped, but the feeling of dread lingered. To this day, I don't know what caused those sounds or if someone had been in my house. One evening I was comfortably watching TV. The house was quiet except for the sounds of the movie. Suddenly, a completely white cat appeared in my living room. I didn't have any pets, so seeing this strange cat startled me. The cat was unnaturally white, almost glowing in the dim light. Curious, I got up to pet it, or at least put it outside. As I approached, the cat started making low, menacing noises. Its eyes locked onto mine, and I could see an unusual intensity in them, as if it was ready to attack. Fear gripped me. I didn't know what to do. Panicking, I ran outside, leaving the front door open, hoping the cat would follow and leave. I waited for a few minutes, but the cat didn't come out. Hesitantly, I went back inside to look for it. Strangely, the cat had vanished. I searched the whole house, checking every room and corner, but it was nowhere to be found. Relieved but puzzled, I went back to my movie, trying to shake off the strange encounter. About 30 minutes later, I heard the same low growl. Turning towards the kitchen, I saw the white cat again. It emerged from the shadows, glaring at me with those intense eyes and making the same angry noises. Fear took over once more, and I ran outside, hoping the cat would follow. But it stayed inside, unmoving. After a few moments, I re-entered the house cautiously. Again, the cat was gone, as mysteriously as it had appeared. This time, I was more thorough in my search. I looked everywhere, even checking the windows and vents, but the cat was nowhere to be found. Baffled and uneasy, I returned to my movie, my eyes darting around the room every few minutes. The cat never showed up again that night. To this day, I don't know how it entered the house or how it left.